You don't think you are the right CEO material.
Yeah.
You're much better at the earliest, more creative stage. When did you discover that, and like how did you get that clarity?
Yeah, I feel I'm a good CEO, but I don't think I'm a great CEO. And what I mean by that is I think I'm good when there's like less than 100, 200 people. Like I can deal with that. But once it gets past that, what I find is that it's just, it's a lot of people management. It's a lot of just operational management, holding accountability to, tens or hundreds of people. I really miss the creative aspect and the bit of truly connecting with a small team. I always say like bliss growth, which is, I'm forwarding a little bit, but in the venture studio, it's only a small team. It's only like 10, 12 of us. And it's like a band. We all play together, we work together. And I really like that. Once it gets too big, you lose that touch. So for me, I don't feel that's where I do my best work. Now, I was very fortunate in Yieldify, my first company. Our chairman was an extremely strong operator, and I learned a lot from him. And he, scaled out lots of companies. He's IPO'd companies, so I learned a lot. So I saw what the optimal execution operator looks like in me, and I learned a lot from him. And I'm very grateful for it. But I don't think that's probably what I should be doing in this lifetime. Like I really enjoy the start. I enjoy the incubation of a company. I enjoy the ideation and finding the founders to work with me. So the venture studio I run, I really love that. That's where I feel I'm supposed to be.
Let's talk about that, because so many of our common friends who exited companies are dreaming about or trying to build venture studios. I'd love you to talk about pros and cons of that. Like if I asked you, shall I do it?
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I definitely have had a lot of people come to me and quiz me and put a torch in my face and say, what's really going on. And I feel what people don't realize is that I've always wanted a venture studio. Even before Yieldify, I was running multiple companies. So in the back of our minds, my brother and me, who I do the venture studio with, and there's a team of us, we both looked at each other and we knew at some moment we were going to build a venture studio. We don't know when, but we knew it. So if you think about it, all through those, this was in 2013, and we'd been building companies probably from like 2011. So you could probably see for the last 12 years it's been in us. And during those times, I officially probably started the venture studio when I started Reach Desk. That was the first company technically. But what happened was the company started growing so quick that it actually required me to jump in and help more. But I had always been doing the research. It was something I've always wanted to do. So I think I was meant to do it. This is what I feel. Now, on the outside, it looks exciting. There's, you're running multiple companies. Each venture studio is also very unique. We can talk about my one probably in a bit more later, but each venture studio is different because you might build like 3 companies a year all the way to 10 or 20 a year. And there's this line of like, is a venture studio as an accelerator, right? Like venture studio in my mind is actually helping on day 0 with the ideation and helping with the founders. Now, when people come to me with that with the conversation, should I do it? I ask them questions about what they're into, and because you've really got to be okay building multiple companies and be hands-on. It's super time intensive to the point where, I think I've mentioned to you before, where like if I had a family with lots of kids, I don't know if I'd do a venture studio because it is so much work and time. So I think that's a big question. Like, are you prepared to put in the time? Do you like being hands-on in companies? That's obviously exciting because I think a lot of people have done some angel investing or have done like venture tickets, let's say, but you realize you don't get as hands-on, whereas in a venture studio you do. However, once the company hits a certain scale and you get Series A investors, you're not really that hands-on anymore. You're just, again, someone on the cap table at times. Yes, the founder will call me up when he's got a problem, but that touch and that involvement does go down. So then that's another interesting aspect to work through. It's very capital intensive. People don't know this, but my brother and me and the team, like we're investing like over $1 million each, like just to keep the thing running at the same time, sometimes investing, because the first capital comes from us. So and you're taking no salary, right? So the question is, it does take millions to run, and you're going to be making no salary, so you're waiting for the payout. So are you prepared to do that? And some people probably can, but it is a financial constraint unless you raise a big fund on the back of a venture studio, which you can, but then you're going to lose that freedom, and you're then going to have a lot of like structure and milestones, and it gets very intense, and which will then lose all that freedom that you desired. Once you work through these, and then you also need to have a focus. Like, so for us, we focus only on B2B enterprise software. Some people might say, hey, that's a bit boring. I want to do lots of things. And that's okay, but then you're never going to be strong in one area. So that's another factor, is like, are you okay with just staying down one single lane? So that's another data point. And then I think another big part is the team. At the start, as I mentioned, the Bliss Growth is like a band, and like each person's got a different area of strength. Like my brother is obsessed about product. We've got another guy on our team who's obsessed about engineering. Someone's obsessed about go-to-market. So, and that obsession needs to be there with that one person, because they need to own it. And at the same time, you all need to be able to work as a group or a band, right? And so therefore you need to have strong people in all these parts. So I do think you need a good number of good co-founders at the start for it to work, because there is so much to get done. Now, if someone's listened to that and said, that sounds super exciting and none of them I'm afraid of, then I think there might be something there to check.
Yeah, but it's interesting that lots of people are considering that option because they actually don't want to work as hard as they did in the first company.
Yeah.
So they think that it will be easier.